Hey, welcome back to the Inspiration Station podcast. My name is Carson Keller, and in this series, I'm taking you aboard the Innovation Express to explore your entrepreneurial mindset, all while learning about the vast opportunities within Simon Fraser University's entrepreneurship ecosystem. Last week, we met two co-founders of Uprooted Agriculture and unearthed their journey of collaboration in tandem with the Entrepreneurship Co-op program. This week, we will take a deep dive into the growth mindset and how you can transform challenges into opportunities for personal and professional development. Let's go. Before we get into today's interview, which I'm very, very excited about, by the way, let me introduce our guest. So, are you ready to meet a remarkable individual who is dedicated to fostering connections, empowering communities, and unlocking the potential of our future leaders? Today, we have the absolute privilege of sharing the remarkable story of someone who recently achieved their Bachelor of Business Administration from SFU's Beatty School of Business with a focus on human resources and marketing. Their name is synonymous with compassion, empowerment, and the relentless pursuit of creating meaningful connections. As a coordinator of PowerPlay events and engagement, our guest's mission is to provide transformative opportunities for elementary school students to engage with community members and university students. By showcasing their accomplishments and unlocking their potential, they strive to pave the way for these young individuals to reach new heights. Beyond their role at the Chang Institute, our guest extends their love for community building to their church community, where they serve as a young adults coordinator and accounting coordinator. Their dedication to nurturing a sense of togetherness and supporting others shines through in every endeavor they undertake. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome aboard the Innovation Express, Alyanna. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. Before we get started, maybe take a moment to, if there's anything else that you wanted to add on to your introduction, to share with our audience. Who is Alyanna?
Ooh, what else is there? I love planning events just because I love, like you said, the togetherness.
Yes.
I love uniting people together and not only having a good time, but also learning from one another and just being a community itself. So, that's who I am.
Wow. Well, hello, and thank you so much for elaborating on yourself and really diving deep right off the get-go. I think you've laid down a lot of groundwork in understanding what it's like to support young entrepreneurs from the very beginning. And I think just before we even dive into some of the greatness that you've done, could you maybe sort of tell the story of OpFest? Because I know that there's quite the pivotal moment that took place in sort of an event that took place in early 2020 before OpFest even took place. Do you care to elaborate?
Actually, I might go even before that.
Yeah, go for it. Tell us all about it.
I took Biz 238, Intro to Entrepreneurship. That year, actually wasn't sure if I was doing HR, marketing, entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
The world was like offered so many things or opportunities for me, and so my advisor was like, why don't you take 238 just to see if you are into entrepreneurship and innovation? And so I did, and it was back in 2018.
Wow.
And so this was OpFest in person. It was like an exhibit. I was with a team, we had a booth, and I got to see how students interact with industry professionals, but I also saw how industry professionals interact with students. Mm-hmm. And so I got to see what OpFest looks like from a student perspective.
So just to sort of interrupt, for our listeners, I think they might not be aware of what OpFest is.
Oh, yeah.
Or its proper name, Opportunity Fest.
Oh, yes.
Would you care to explain for our listeners what a great opportunity this is for them and how they can take advantage of it?
Yeah, for sure. So Opportunity Fest is one of the pillar events that the Chang Institute for Entrepreneurship hosts. So they bring together students from Biz 238, 477, cohorts, and they even bring young entrepreneurs like from PowerPlay, and so the students have the opportunity to showcase what they had been working on throughout the semester, whether it be, I think, for example, my idea when I was a student, it was a food truck that takes in leftover produce and
Awesome.
and then heads towards downtown and will make smoothies or salads. And it is for those who are working in the downtown area. And whatever we have left, we'll give it to the communities that don't have access to food. So something like that. There are also ideas showcased surrounding nonprofit, change making, and so on. And they get to meet with various industry professionals. They meet professors, they meet alumni from Opportunity Fest and more, to connect and learn and hear not only their feedback but also ideas that are both tangible and intangible, where they learn the value of growing not only as an entrepreneur but as a student as well. And so I would say this is one of the first event that I felt like I was involved at SFU.
That's awesome.
And I think for those who have not participated in OpFest, I guarantee you that being part of this event will make you feel like you are SFU.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's something that SFU prides in, is like really making them feel like they are an SFU student, right?
Yeah. I didn't mean to like bring in the tagline there. It was kind of unintended, but
bringing in those buzzwords.
Yeah. Well, it was my personal experience. I've never done anything like this, and when I was a student at OpFest, that's when I knew, I want to be more involved here. It's kind of like that event was where I pretty much broke out of my shell here awesome. at the university. And so when a couple of years later, I was looking for a co-op, and I saw that I got to coordinate and put together Opportunity Fest. I was like, yep, applying.
A great opportunity.
Yes. And I remember when I was preparing for my interview, I was like, I really wanted this job just because I knew as a student, I got to see the event as a student, and now I get to plan it. And so I remember in my interview with Dr. Sarah Lubeck, I was telling her, here's my experience. I really want this job. Like, I was at OpFest too. And when she offered me the job, I actually cried.
Oh, that's so sweet. Like, you really wanted this.
I really wanted this. And so, and the thing is, what I loved about being able to work on OpFest now as like an employee, I still get to be an entrepreneur, innovator kind of type. Just because what OpFest is it's all about the growth with them.
Yeah, and I think that's such a valuable opportunity to be part of OpFest.
Yeah.
Now I remember you started working on OpFest. You started the planning of the massive project that is coordinating and planning and putting all of this together. Now, tell me, what happened right before OpFest, and how did you sort of make a pivot to realign how OpFest was going to go about?
Yeah, so when I first started on the job, everything was in person. No pandemic has showed up yet. And so I was given this ownership over the event where I get to learn how Opportunity Fest was like in the past, and figure out how to improve the processes, how to innovate every single aspect of this event to make it not only smoother but fulfilling for those that are involved. And so I was ready to plan this in-person event. We were going to make it bigger. And then literally like 2 weeks before the event, it was announced that everything is going to be shut down. No in-person event. So I had to cancel photography. I had to cancel the space and figure out, are we still having Opportunity Fest, and how is that going to work?
Yeah.
I took my passion in bringing people together, no matter what circumstances there are, by putting them together in this online space. You know, all I had to think about is how can they still shine through the event? How can we still showcase the students at the event in a way that makes them excited, in a way that makes the mentors excited. And so usually in an exhibit at OpFest, what's usually done is the students have their tables and the mentors go around. And so online, what we did instead is we asked the students to take a video of their pitch. We would show their video, and then they have the opportunity to do a Q&A after. We didn't want to use this pandemic as a way to stop it, but rather a way to bring us together even more. I can't help but feel blessed and grateful that this community is so supportive of one another. And it's shown even more during the pandemic, because it showed that all we care about is being there for one another and helping each other. I didn't want to see the pandemic as a way to be like, okay, now it's a restriction, or I can't do this, I can't do that. Instead, it gave the opportunity to try other things, other process that you can't do in person.
What is that sound?
Oh.
I think it is time. I think it's time for the Mindset Matters Minute.
Oh!
So this is something that we've been doing throughout the entire podcast. I think it's a great segue, actually, into this, where we are going to be presenting you with a word from the entrepreneurial mindset from the Chang Institute for Entrepreneurship. There are 12 of these attributes that help support us as entrepreneurs, to help us make the most of our journeys. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to present you with one of these attributes, and you are going to have 1 minute to tell the listeners, tell us what that means to you, whether that be providing a personal story, textbook definition, whatever that means to you, just go for it. Okay. So, your word is growth mindset.
Ooh.
1 minute starts now.
Okay, this is one of my favorite ones. Growth mindset is, to me, being open to learn, being open to make mistakes, to be open to face problems, and believing that you can solve it, believing that you can learn from it. Because, like, if you're afraid to fail, how do you know if you're going to fail? Mm-hmm. If you're afraid to try new things, how do you know if it's going to work out for you? So to me, as a student, I've always wanted to learn different things. And so to me, one of the reasons why I love the growth mindset is because it makes it okay for me to fail so I can succeed. Because that way I grow. Oh my gosh. I just made that.
1 minute.
Oh my gosh.
Good job.
I just said that last word.
That's fantastic.
Right on the dot.
I think that this explanation is very, very, it defines who you are. And even with your wonderful story, thank you so much for sharing so much about OpFest with us. I think that's a very, very useful information for a lot of our audience, and understanding that you can learn a lot from mentors and industry professionals about something that you're passionate about, just through presenting it to the community. But I think that you've shown a lot of resilience through that. In that you were able to completely pivot something that's been in person for so long and make it that still engaging and exciting event that it always has been. And I think you were quite successful in that, and that just also complements what we were talking about earlier about how you were all about community and how you are all about making sure that everybody gets the most out of something. And I personally, I really, really appreciate having people like you in the world, because like without people like you, I feel like not much progress would be made in terms of like that sense of community and that sense of love that is cultivated from all that hard work that's put into making events like this. So thank you for all the hard work that you've done. I'm incredibly inspired. Incredibly inspired.
Oh, that's so sweet. It means so much to me. Thank you so much, Carson. Even in the university space, we know that learning is not hard. We know that growing, the journey of growing it can be hurtful, it can be painful, but the thing is, what makes it okay and what makes it worth going through is the fact that there's actually a support system that not everyone sees. And so, and the thing is, even before I participated or even knew about OpFest, like I was just, I go to lectures and I'm at the back of the lecture hall, and I wasn't sure who I could talk to. I wasn't sure who, like where I belonged in the university, up until I participated in that event, and I actually made friends. I made new friends, and I saw the potential for me to be more involved and to actually have that connection. Oh, I can actually talk with those who are not, like those who are already so ahead of their career, to those who are like managers, CEOs, founders of companies. I get to talk with them. I get to meet with them, and they get to share to me. Their experiences. I thought it was like as most simple as I could say, it was a really cool experience.
I love that.
Yeah, and
love that.
I would love that for everyone,
And I think it comes in many different forms as well, and at a lot of different times. Like on our podcast, we've had stories of people who have begun their journeys like very young, and they've taken off, and they've done such beautiful things. And what I think you're really honing into is that these opportunities can come to you at any time.
Yes.
And the advice and what is available to you through not only what is available at the Chang Institute through OpFest and Co-op and all of these things that we offer, is that there's so much out there, and that sometimes it really just takes that one person or that one piece of advice to really open up your world to all of those opportunities.
Yeah, actually, I love that you said that, because it reminded me of the events that we had this year, where we get to bring students from PowerPlay entrepreneurs in the university space. They get to do a showcase event. They met university entrepreneurs. They met founders and CEOs of different organizations, and I'm just so excited to see where they go, how far they go.
Wow.
How this whole unlocking their potential, like it's already started at such a young age, like from their schools and their homes, and bringing it outside of that too. It shows that there's this huge hope in this next generation,
which I feel has been underplayed by so many people. Like the demographics that are older than us are, in a way, like they're looking down on us, or they're selling us short of what we really have going for us at our age and at the elementary school age. There's so much potential, and we see that through the PowerPlay events. We see that through Opportunity Fest, and there's this sense of excitement that is cultivated by that. And I think for new students who are entering Simon Fraser University or any post-secondary space, there is that sense of excitement for them, but sometimes that sense of excitement gets thrown off its course when they get overwhelmed by what could be, and just thinking about their future and being uncertain. So I guess my next question for you would be, what advice would you have for, I guess, someone who's looking to make a change in their future and wants to take advantage of the opportunities that are available to them, but might not know what there is out there for them?
Yeah. Actually, I have two, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Because first is more of like an internal thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to make a change, ask yourself why you want to make that change. You know, it's not just about, oh, I just want to do it. It's to be intentional in what you're going to do, what you want to do, and what you want to accomplish out of it. And the second thing is to just ask. Take that risk. Take that step forward out of your comfort zone and not mind about how much the other person knows, because they're going to know either way. How are they supposed to know if you don't tell them?
Exactly.
So,
and humans are naturally, they are storytellers.
Yeah.
So we naturally want to help people arrive at their goals and help them achieve their dreams.
Yeah.
And what better way to do that than to actually just, reach out, whether it be to a fellow undergrad student, whether it be to a faculty member, to somebody that you trust or have in your life already. Like, there are support systems that are available to help support you.
Yeah, there's so much around us that we don't see.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like I said, like first, like know your purpose, know why, know your whys. And second is to just go for it. You never know who knows. It took me a couple years to know that, to reach out to my advisor and be like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And she told me, take this course.
Yeah, some people can be very lost in their journeys, but even just reaching out to an advisor to help you with your even academic journey.
Yeah, exactly. Because like if I didn't ask, then I feel like I just keep being lost, And so I hope that we don't let our fear of not knowing anything or our fear of making mistakes get to us. Like I said earlier, in order for us to reach our potential, our highest potential, in order for us to reach our success, we got to take those risks.
Yes.
Even if we fail along the way, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, and that's part of being a human.
Yeah.
And the biggest takeaway that I think I'm getting from you is that if you don't put yourself out there and make it known to yourself as well that this is what I want, even if you don't know how to get there, taking a risk is the step that you need to take in order to achieving your dreams.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is such valuable information that you've shared with us today, and I'm so grateful for all of that. So thank you for sharing with us today, Alyanna. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Where can our audience find you?
Well, you can catch me on Instagram at Alyanna Salang. On LinkedIn as well, Alyanna Salang. I tried to put all my social media, my first name, last name, so it's easier to find me, just because my name is already hard to spell. So, but yeah, you can find me there. Connect.
Awesome.
I'd love to chat.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, and I guess that's all.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we will see you on the next episode of The Inspiration Station.